On serious accent.
Hello, you crazy kids. Say hello. It's Maddie here, and we're headed to Rockstar in Rhode Island to check out the Rough and Rowdy champion, Miss Vicky. She's got a fight coming up next weekend, so I figured I'd pop into her gym, say what's up, and maybe she'll let me spar her. That'd be dope. But either way, we're probably gonna do some training, ask some questions. It's gonna be fun. I'm excited. The first time I met Vicky, she was super young. I think she was like 15 maybe, and she was starting kickboxing. And she was just so young, but I remember her, she was so hungry to be really good, and she was really good. I remember watching, I think it was her first fight. Fast forward a couple years later, and now she's a pro boxer, killing it with Rough and Rowdy, so I'm really excited to hear about her journey and where it's taken her and what she's up to, and it's gonna be fun. You coming? Are you making me look cool?
No.
Come on, do I look cool?
Yes.
I'm fucking with you.
Daddy. Rough.
What's up? Well, I'm so excited we finally got to sit down, because I feel like we've been trying to do this for a long time.
I know, and then I felt bad because it was like a back and forth, like, oh, I can't make it today.
Fighter lifestyle is crazy.
I know.
I feel like it's never ending. It's always going. And you've been quite busy with the fighting.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. So how long have you been the Rough and Rowdy champ?
So I fought for the first time with Rough and Rowdy in 2019, and they gave me a belt, but then when I came back years later, they're like, it's not like an official lightweight or certain title. It's kind of more like a trophy. So I went back last year when it was at the Dunk, or the Amp now, and I fought that one time, and then right away they called me back to West Virginia to fight their champion, Cherry Bomb, and that was in March, and I've been the champ since.
Yeah, so they were just like your first fight. That was a championship fight?
No, technically in 2019.
Wow.
Because it blew up so much at the weigh-in. They were like, oh, two college girls.
Okay.
I became the main event, and they gave me a title. But then they're like, that one doesn't really count towards our lightweight champion, because they already had Cherry Bomb.
Okay.
So I took a break from Rough and Rowdy for a couple of years until I came back last year.
Okay.
Because USA Boxing was gonna kick me out, and it just like wasn't worth it at the time.
Oh, wow.
And then flash forward, I was like, screw it, and I went all in with Rough and Rowdy last year.
Okay, so let's backtrack a second. So
I know,
you were fighting. There was a lot going on. So USA Boxing.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that. So you were fighting for USA Boxing, trying to work in the ranks, that sort of thing? Or?
Yeah, so it actually started with Rough and Rowdy. Was my first boxing match.
Okay.
I had never like actually done a fight with USA Boxing. And then, but they knew I was like going to, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I did the Rough and Rowdy, and they sent me a letter in 2019 from Colorado and said, if you do another one, you're done, like forever, you can't come back. So at the time, like I had one goal in mind. It was just to get like a Southern New England Golden Glove Championship. And then I didn't really care. Like that was something that was important to me.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna go back to Rough and Rowdy. It's not worth it. But big picture, a couple years later, I saw it as something different. But I did take a break from 2019 up until last December.
Okay. Well, I think a lot of people took a break, like in 2020, in like that period. It was a little weird.
That's true too.
But so USA Boxing, I'm wondering why they didn't like it. Was it more of like a non-compete type of thing, or was it specifically we don't like that you're in Rough and Rowdy?
See, I think it was like a little bit of both of that, where they got to use the excuse, you're getting paid. So, and then I wrote them back and I was like, well, what if I don't get paid? And they're like, no. So I think it was more like, we want to hold you guys. The stigma of like working with Barstool, but also like, there's no other amateur boxing. Like there's other kickboxing federations and stuff, but if you don't compete for USA Boxing, what are you competing for?
Right.
And then Rough and Rowdy. So I feel like they just want to own all the boxers.
Right. No, it makes sense.
I'm not crazy about them. But.
And I mean, Rough and Rowdy is a rowdy organization for sure. But what is maybe a misconception of Rough and Rowdy that people might not be considering? Because you take it very seriously.
Yeah.
As you should, you know? So maybe what is a misconception of it?
Yeah, I feel like coming back last year, it was a really big decision for me. Like, talking to coach that thought it wasn't a good idea, old school mentality, to Lewis, someone that helps us in the gym, kind of making decisions, seeing bigger picture that this could blow up and it could help me build a brand. But I think a misconception is the undercard is all that it is. And those are people 0-0. Some of them used to fight in like cowboy boots and no experience at all. But now they're really rebranding into the 5 main events, or people that train, box.
Like legit
fighters.
Yeah.
Like they might have started on Rough and Rowdy, but after 4 years of doing Rough and Rowdy, you're now a fighter. Like you're in the gym training just as much as an amateur fighter. Like what's the difference there? So I think that's a big misconception.
What has been one of your favorite fights that you've seen that's not yours? I mean, it's kind of tough to watch because you're in the back.
Rough and Rowdy?
Yeah, it's like, you know, you're usually in the back or something. But do you have one where you're like, that was fucking ridiculous?
I feel like, so it's not like a whole fight, but it's one of these clips they always show, and I absolutely love it. It's this big dude, and he like hits the guy, and then he shimmies. Okay. I just think it's so funny. And like when we came back to Rough and Rowdy, like that was the video that I was like, I have to do this. This is madness.
I
so
love
funny.
that. Do you see yourself ever being that type of fighter that kind of puts on a little show?
Yeah.
Because what I noticed first thing about you was like, dude, if looks could fucking kill. Like when you walk out, you're like, don't even like.
It's a whole different person.
Yeah.
Like I think like that's my biggest thing is when you see me day to day, I'm a goofball. Like I'm very like I like to think I'm a nice person. And then when I go to the ring, it's like all business, all serious. And you hit me once and I'm coming. Kind of thing. So I feel like I've kind of played into that. But like after the fight's over, like last year in Providence, I really had fun with that showmanship of like getting on the ropes and being like, oh, and screaming at the camera. And you can't do that in USA Boxing, you'll get banned.
Really?
Yeah, they don't like that stuff at all.
Snap.
So I think I've kind of realized I belong in more something like this. That you can be a little bit of a character, like WWE style.
Right. I have to commend you because I was watching some of your old fights, and it was like, I think you had one fight and then maybe like a couple months off and then you had another one. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I got the belt and then came back.
Okay.
Yeah.
You improved so much.
Really? I was like that fight was hard for me to watch the next one.
Well, okay, so the one I watched, I want to say it was in Providence. It wasn't, I don't think it was for a belt, but you guys were just like in a phone booth, just fucking. Yeah. And then your next fight out, I think they were labeling her as like the athlete. Do you remember that one?
Cherry Bomb?
No, it was, she was a little taller.
Oh, that was the 2 fights later.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Was she really tall and long?
Yes. Okay. And like you were calculated. You were taking your time. You were picking your shots, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. So it's so funny because I fight like that. That's how I train and that's how I spar. But the Rough and Rowdy you saw in Providence was someone throwing punches at me, and I'm like, I have a minute to throw more punches.
Right.
So although like I was fighting like that, I was doing my best at like trying to showcase, but I thought that fight was better because I was throwing more. So like in Rough and Rowdy's terms, I feel like people were more entertained by that one.
Right.
But flash forward to the next one, I was like, everyone felt like it was a snooze fest, but it looked like a pro match.
It was like an actual fight. Yeah.
Which I'd rather do, but that's not what people want to see.
And that's kind of the catch-22 that Rough and Rowdy I think is running into is their fan base wants the brawl.
Rowdy,
you know, but like people like you and people that you're gonna fight, they're like, no, we're like looking to be real fighters. So coming up, you have a fight. So it's next Saturday, right?
No, it's actually Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Less than a week out.
we are here, baby. Okay, so tell me a little bit about your opponent, how you're feeling, you know, all that good stuff.
So I don't know like much about her. Her name's January. She's supposedly 3-0 around across the board. Her last fight, I wasn't at that Rough and Rowdy, but I watched it back. She fought this girl that I actually messaged to be my opponent because she was in like these other influencer leagues, and someone sent me her and was like, why don't you ask her if she'll do it? Rough and Rowdy said, absolutely not. Like, we don't know enough about her. We don't think she's like good enough for a title match. So I was like, that's fine. They wanted to watch her. So they put her against my opponent now. Okay. And my opponent absolutely destroyed her. But she's like, I realize now that she's like 4'11", She's tiny.
shit.
She was like using a guard like this the entire time, like a one-handed guard.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't want to go off that video and say my opponent's a monster because that opponent wasn't really a good matchup. If
But
that makes
yeah,
sense.
I get, like, you know, the matchup is everything, but also you have to look at what they're giving. And it sounds like she gives energy and goes
that?
forward a lot.
Yes,
Your opponent.
yes, absolutely.
So when you think of how the fight's going to go down, I mean, I don't want you to give away your game plan or anything, but do you see a finish maybe? Do you see...
I'm excited because I feel like my last two opponents, other than Providence, which I know you said it was kind of like madness, but it was exciting because she came at me and she threw punches.
Right.
And I predict kind of like an exciting fight versus like either someone running away or just like that lady Cherry Bomb. She just grabbed onto me the whole time.
Right.
Like no one wants
Super
to see
frustrating.
that. Yeah.
And like that was like one of the most
frustrating.
fiery weigh-ins ever.
Right. And then she, I think, realized the power that I had in that weigh-in, and instead of her usual like come forward and throw crazy punches, she just grabbed onto me the whole fight.
Yeah.
So I'd rather have
fucking
someone
annoying.
punch with me and like really try to box with me versus
Like, I mean, I come from the kickboxing world, the Muay Thai world, and when somebody's clinching me and just hanging on me, I'm like, go fuck yourself. I want to punch you.
But it feels like they're like almost cheating.
Right, it's very
well, in
frustrating.
boxing it is cheating.
It's
but.
very, well, yeah. That's the
but
thing.
Rough and Rowdy, they don't say anything. You can get away with literally hitting someone in the top of the head and you might get a point for it.
Right, exactly. So you have your thing. Are you the co-main? Are you like...
We're not sure yet. I know I'm in the top 5 like main events of the night. Probably third to last, if anything. I'm not positive. Don't quote me on that.
That's all right. But the main event is Damani Burns, and that is your man's, right? So first of all, how long have you guys been together?
So we were together at the first Rough and Rowdy in well, like the second Rough and Rowdy in Providence last year. We just weren't like publicly out because we thought Barstool would like us branded as not a couple. But flash forward now, they actually were supposed to come down last week, but Damani had the flu, and they were gonna do like a couple's date with us in Large.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah. So they like it. They think it's cool.
I come from a relationship where we're both fighters as well. So
Which I love watching it.
I understand the stresses that might come from it. So what is it like having to be on the same card as your significant other?
I feel like the biggest battle has been I was always after him. So like even like our last fight, I think it was literally him and then me. So I can't go out there and watch and then come back and have my gloves on. So I actually couldn't even watch him fight. So I feel like that was a really big stress for me because now I'm like lined up ready to walk out for my fight as his is going on. And all I'm hearing is like madness and yells and I'm just like, what's going on? Like this could be going either way, I don't know. Right. So that was like stressful for me.
That's giving me such PTSD because I mean I haven't fought in a while, but one of the last times that Ross fought as an amateur, he was a couple fights after me. He was supposed to be warming up.
It's so stressful.
I'm fighting. And he told me, he's like, all I could hear was, oh, oh! So I guess he ran down, watched the fight, barely warmed up for his fight. So I totally get it.
How did you do? Did he win the fight?
I think he won. I don't think I won, though.
That's okay.
But it's all good. It happens.
We had his support.
Exactly.
That's all that matters.
But yeah, it can be a little stressful. Do you find it stressful or do you find it comforting now that you guys, are out in the public and it's like you're dating somebody that gets the world? Like, how is that?
I feel like so I honestly wasn't in any serious relationships before Damani, and I feel like if it was anyone else, I couldn't do it. Who understands that lifestyle other than a fighter? Yeah. Like, hey, I'm going to the gym for the 2nd time today. You're like, what? Like, you don't need to do that. But like, only someone in that mindset and that understands that grind is going to understand like what you're going through, even if it's like a weight cut. Like, who understands that monster more than someone that knows that pain? So
does he cut a lot of weight? Because I know you were just saying you don't have to cut much weight.
We're both in the same boat, so we don't have to cut for Rough and Rowdy. But
so you guys are chilling on that front. Yeah, for now.
Next month he has a pro debut with CES MMA. And he has to cut quite a bit. So
get ready, baby girl.
I know.
Get ready, because men that cut weight, I'm sorry,
even
I'm
bigger
saying right
babies.
now, y'all are babies.
Yeah,
such babies. I will say they usually are cutting more, but.
That's true. It's hard for us to cut weight, though.
It is, hormonally. People don't understand that.
It's so hard for me.
Like,
when I cut to 25, I would feel like my stomach had nowhere else to go. And I'm like, where else can I lose weight from?
Right.
Because, like, we hold a lot of weight in our, like, legs, too. So it's not as easy.
Our bodies are just so different. Like, we hold on to water. We have crazy hormones.
Yeah.
Like
gain 10 pounds, lose 10 pounds.
exactly.
Like,
oh my God. And like it was always like I used to walk around at like I don't know 122-ish. I would fight at 112.
Oh. I don't think I've seen 112 since I was like in elementary school.
Dude, and like I was like, I literally don't know where this is gonna come off of my body.
Yeah.
Like it's just wild.
insane.
And like guys always seem to shed it so fast. I'm like, you fuckers.
Their like water cuts are way easier, I think.
It's wild. But
back to your comfort thing really quick though.
Yeah.
It's so funny because my last, well, like 2 fights ago when I fought that girl Cherry Bomb and she was grabbing onto me, I was not like having a hard time. I was just more like grabbing her back and like looking around like, are you serious?
Yeah, like what do I do?
Yeah, but she was like sneaking in these awkward little nothing punches. And I go back to the corner and the one person I heard was him. And he's like, you have to throw. Like they're counting these punches even though it's in a clinch. Like do something. And that changed my whole game plan.
Nice.
So like for some reason, like even when I spar, I can really dial into him when he goes into that, like, now I don't want to say panic, but like step up and fight.
Yeah,
like I can really dial into him, so that's been helpful.
That's sweet. Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. You guys are great. So you guys are gonna be fighting in days. That's so exciting.
It hasn't hit me yet though, because I'm used to fighting on Saturdays or Fridays.
How does your mindset, like when do you start dialing in for this fight?
I think I'm always like dialed in, like taking it seriously, but as far as like the nerves kick in, maybe weigh-ins.
Okay.
I try to keep calm besides that and not overthink it, not overanalyze it, not overanalyze my opponent either. Like I have my tools and you just gotta go in there and perform like yourself.
Yeah.
So I try not to like get too obsessive, if that makes sense.
Right. I was looking at all of the Rough and Rowdy stuff on socials. They do such a good job of promoting it. I mean, Barstool Sports is king. Like they are so good at promoting their stuff. One of your fights has like almost 6 million,
too.
but it's like almost 6 million views.
I know. That's the one that they pushed us to the main event right away.
I was like, holy shit, dude. Yeah. So, I mean, people know your face and know you as like, you know, the cheerleader for Barstool and Rough and Rowdy. What do your DMs look like? I'm dying to know. Like, how out of pocket do people get?
Especially like the weigh-in day or the day after, people will be like, can I buy your sweaty gym socks? And I'm like, oh, how much?
Yeah, for real though. Like, how much we talking?
Yeah, right.
But like, dude,
it's crazy. Like,
are you able to share any?
Huh? Like, share them on here?
Do you have any that you want to share?
Oh, I don't have my phone on me. It's over there.
It's probably too X-rated anyway. It's probably too X-rated.
But it's funny because they go to like a hidden request box, so you don't see them right away.
Yeah,
the creep. Nice.
Instagram was smart with like, oh, this looks like a creep. Let me hide it in like this weird.
So I won't see them for like months later, and then when I'm really bored, I'll go through them, and then I'll show Damani sometimes, and I'll be like, I'll be like, look at this. He's like.
You know what? Like, I thank my lucky stars I don't get too many creeps. My husband gets creeps though.
Really?
Yeah, he does.
Like creepy girls or creepy guys?
Like gay men.
No way.
Sorry. He's shaking his head behind the camera. Yes.
That's insane.
Yes. I mean, he is quite attractive. I get it. I get it. So what's next for you? I know we don't want to look too far ahead because we have a game plan for Thursday. Yeah. But what's like the big picture for you? Like, what do you hope to do with this boxing career?
So I kind of went into Rough and Rowdy just looking to like brand build and see what branches off of that. Yeah. I love fighting. It's been a part of like my life for such a long time. Whether it's going pro, but I've kind of realized there's not, for me, that much money in boxing pro, especially early stages.
Especially for females.
Yeah, sadly. But I've realized there's other branches like either influencer boxing or misfits boxing. Yeah. So maybe in the future there's some kind of deal there where that would help me.
Yeah.
But, I do a little bit of jiu-jitsu, you never know, MMA.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm willing to try anything that's on my bucket list. I don't know if I would fully pursue that because I love boxing, but even like just one fight, like, you know, like bucket list, check it off.
Yeah, just to say it.
Yeah.
You know, I considered it for a hot second.
I feel like you could do it.
And then, well, the thing is, I've taken like a handful of jiu-jitsu classes and I wasn't good right away, so I was like, fuck this.
That's me. That's so me. Yeah, I think when you're like an athlete and you're used to punching someone and you're like, all right, now I'm in a choke and I can't punch you.
One of my biggest fears is being held down, and I use jiu-jitsu to kind of like get over that fear.
Yeah.
And
jiu-jitsu frustrates the shit out of me.
It's very frustrating, and the striking is very different. Like, I come from like, you know, the K1 kickboxing and Muay Thai, and it's like this type of striking that I do, a wrestler, a jiu-jitsu person, they'll rip it apart. They'll just take me down.
Which is good to learn in general.
It is good to learn, but yeah, I don't think that's in the cards for me. I think we should just stick with punching people.
You can see it all over my face too. I get so mad when I'm like rolling and
I get it too, man. I get it too. But I'd love to do some training. I think it'd be super fun to maybe show me your favorite combos or like, you know. And you have your last sparring session, so I won't keep you too long. Okay. But I'm excited. So yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm excited. Let's go. I have to. All right, I'm low-key nervous, but
I'm a little nervous. But
okay. You're nervous? This bitch is fighting on Thursday and she's nervous. Okay, so I figured it'd be really cool if you walked us through maybe one of your favorite combinations and how you get it done.
Okay, so with Rough and Rowdy, we kind of talked about this. I have like favorite combos, but I kind of stick to just my straight punches because I feel like that's most effective. And I also like to throw in like that left uppercut. We kind of call it like a jumper cut because it's like this fast like uppercut and you move away.
Oh, I like that.
So if you watch back the Providence show, you'll see like because these girls are so wild, they're open, their chins are wide open.
Right.
So I don't want to give like too much away, but that's helped me with Rough and Rowdy is like picking those openings.
Yeah, so let's walk through it. Show me maybe your footwork and how you get it in.
The jumper cut?
Yeah.
That's my new special name for it.
I love it. Okay.
So it's when, say you're going wild. So pretend you're a Rough and Rowdy girl. Yeah. You would just kind of move your head and boom. That's that opening. And then maybe even spin off the side.
All right, so like a hard cut.
You gotta kind of
nice hard cut.
I don't want to hit you. So you just boom and slide.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and see, my foot's gonna pivot off to the left too, because now when I throw it, I'm getting away. And a lot of these girls, they're not really thinking, they're throwing.
Right.
So when they're throwing forward, and you hit them with that uppercut, they're off balance, and then they slip to the side.
So this is like a fun little L step. So for maybe an opponent that's going a little crazy with their arms.
Invented this.
Yeah, so we'll call it what did you call it?
I call it a jumper cut. It's like a jab
the
uppercut.
Vicky jumper cut. So if you have a wild opponent, they're going nuts,
Yeah.
You like to time this, but also
kind of move
step
off
at
to
the same
side.
time.
Yeah, because now I'm like, boom, off
So
balance.
a nice little L cut.
Yeah. Let's say I'm going crazy.
Bang.
Boom. You just knocked me out.
Yeah.
So if I'm here, boom, and then step off.
Step off.
But I'm gonna when you really hit someone and they kind of go whoa.
Yeah.
Then they're gonna come
and then
forward.
you rush in.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. You set it up with the jab.
Yep. Jab, and then I'm going wild. Boom. Boom. Boom.
And do you like to? Are you stepping at the same time?
I think I kind of do.
Or do you throw the uppercut? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you like to step at the same time.
You know a check hook.
Yep.
And you kind of step with it.
Yep. So it's like a
same idea.
check uppercut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boom.
I like that. I like it.
There it is. There it is. Yep. 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 Come on. Rest? Is that all right? Good Lord.
I
hit my toes though. That's my problem.
How'd that go? It was all right. Nothing's crazy. Yeah. I've been hit harder for coming home late.
Hands, though.
What hands? Oh, please.